And we'll start with 5.3. Let's see which one's first. 5.391. 5.391/26. And let's see if these are test questions. Yes, that's a test question. Anything having to do with fractions is a test question. So let's go ahead and turn on the whiteboard. And let's do this question because it is a test question. And it says, well, hold on. There it goes. When David finished his first year of high school, he was blah, blah, blah. When he returned to school after the summer, he was blah, blah, blah. How much did it increase? Increase over means subtract. We are going to subtract. So let's subtract. Let's take our handy dandy black pen and let's subtract. 71 and 11/16 minus 69 and 15/16. Do we have a common denominator? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So we just go ahead and subtract, right? No. You can't subtract 15 from 11. So what do? What do we always do when we run into a problem?
Quit.
You're supposed to say quit.
I did say quit.
Good job. All right. Now you're supposed to, okay, I don't know how y'all pronounce it, but I pronounce it B-O-R-R-Y. What's that say?
Bori.
Bari. Y'all don't know how to say Bari?
No. Bari.
Okay. Let me hold my pinky up. Borrow. We're going to borrow. Okay? So, what am I going to borrow from? Well, the bigger number is 71. So I'm going to borrow 1 from the 71, and that turns that into what? 70. And there's a 16/16 floating around. Because I just borrowed, do you mind? 69 and 15/16. I'm going to color this 16/16 red. Because what is 16/16? 1. So it's floating around up in the air. And I'm going to bring it down and add it to this 11/16. 70 and 11/16 plus 16/16 minus 69 and 15/16. Now what is 11 plus 16?
27.
27/16 minus 69 and 15/16. Now I'll do the whole number for you. 70 minus 69 is 1. Now what's 27 minus 15?
12.
12, Hubert. Thank you, class.
We did say it.
I did say
Nobody,
it.
did you hear?
You can't hear me.
Well, if you quit sitting in the back of the North 40.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't like to be close.
Whatever. You sound like an antisocial butterfly. 1
Social
over 12 over
butterfly.
16, that will be what? 3 over 4? So how much taller is he? 1 3/4 inches. Now why did I change it to a mixed number? Why? The 1, because I started with a mixed number, and 2, it's asking for a unit of what? Measurement. So you're not going to leave it as improper. You don't say, oh, I'm 7/4 inches tall. No. Mixed numbers always go with units of measure. So hit your handy dandy mixed number right here button and type in 1 and 3 over 4. And do we feel good about ourselves? Yes. So we don't need to carry around a gallon jug of water.
The same as this.
What?
The other ones, I think they're the same as that.
Okay. Well, that's a good test question. Make sure you know how to borrow or borrow.
Borrow.
Borrow. I'm going to borrow a number. Clemson. You can't say Clemson.
Clemson.
You're a southern racist redneck if you say Clemson. So you have to say Clemson.
What?
Oh my gosh. Y'all never heard those announcers on ESPN? Y'all never heard them?
Mm-hmm.
How do they say Clemson? How do they say it?
It's like Clemson.
Yeah, they say Clemson because if they say Clemson, like everybody says it around here, that's considered, you ain't got any
Redneck.
learnings, you ignorant, and you ain't got any teeth in your head.
That's how it was with. Sorry.
What? That's how what?
That's how it was with our middle school. Like, we always called it Getty's Middle School.
Yeah.
Yeti?
Everybody called it Geddes. And I'm like, what is Geddes? Because it has a Y in it.
Yeah. Like I said, the people are funny. They will go out of their way to pronounce something so they don't sound like us dumb racist Southerners. Clemson. They sound ignorant, more ignorant saying Clemson than they do Clemson. All
Somebody
right.
was texting me and they spelled it Clempson.
Well, that's the way you say it. Clemson.
And I was like, okay.
All right, this is 5.3, 101/28. I'm going to go over these because if it's a good test question, I'm going to go over it. Oh, my God.
Oh, that's the same one. I figured it out.
Okay, we did this one, and this is
This
ridiculous. This right here is ridiculous.
I have forgot when I went back to put it
Yeah.
Don't kill us.
That is not a good test question. And this one, 93, so let's see, 27. A stairway, this is a good test question because a lot of people can't do it. A stairway consists of 18 stairs. Each is blah, blah, blah high. What is the vertical height of the stairway? Now, let's change that. 18 stairs at 2 inches high. So how tall is it?
30.
36 inches.
I can't
What
get
you do? You multiply it. So multiply this. Now, before we even do anything, I'm going to make everything an improper fraction because that's going to be easier because you have to multiply. When you multiply mixed numbers, you might best turn it into a mixed number. So 18 over 1 times, well, let's change this into 8 3/8. Let's change that into so 8 times 8 is what?
No, yes.
64 plus 3 is? So that's going to be 67 over 8. So we go over here and we say 67 over 8. Does anything cancel? Can anything cancel? Yes, what can cancel?
8 and 8, 2.
Okay. 2 will go into 8 4 times. 2 will go into 18 9 times. So now, 9 times 67, well, you might have to do a little mental math there. 9 times 7 is 63, bring to 6. 9 times 6 is what? 54 plus 6 is 60. Over 1 times 2. Now you change it into a mixed number. So, what? What? Did I do something wrong? 2 will go into 8 4 times. I'm sorry. My bad. I had a brain bubble. I'm sorry. Didn't I say 2? 2 will go into 8 4 times. Yeah, it's 4. I was thinking of 2 in my head. There we go. So that's going to be a 4. Thank you for catching that. Did all y'all catch that? I made a mistake. 4 will go into 6 1 time. That'll leave 20. 4 will go into 20 5 times. And then 4 will go into 3 0 times. And that'll leave 3 fourths, 3 over 4. 150 3/4 inches.
Inches.
Did I say inches?
Don't let me laugh.
How did I say it? Is y'all making fun of me?
I didn't do it.
No, she didn't.
I'm sorry.
I was like-
inches. Inches.
In Pickens, they call it, oh yeah, you need a 1/4 foot of an inch. Inch.
Anch. A-N-C-H. Anch.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I'm from Pickens.
Inch.
I don't say that.
Oh, bull
Okay,
crap.
we're not talking to you, Miss Simmons. We're having a conversation without you. All right, 150.
I'm getting bullied. I'm reporting this.
Yeah, might as well. I get reported for everything else. Might as well.
That's what I said.
Oh,
3 over 4. Forcing people to go eat with me.
That was great.
why would they tell on you for that? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Some people don't have a life. Some people don't have girlfriends or boyfriends.
I know, but that would be more reason for them to go out to eat.
That want to make trouble for, it's the old saying, there's always what?
One.
There's always one. And I don't care if you're in high school, I don't care if you're in grammar school, I don't care if you're in college or real world. There's always one that's going to screw it up for everybody. Always.
Yep.
Okay, so that's a good test question. So you got 2 good test questions there. Mark them in your notes because you might see them again. Now let's go to the whiteboard and let's do some handy-dandy scientific notation. Now we only got 10 minutes probably because these Monday, Wednesday, and Friday courses suck, but we'll do the best we can. Let's review over several of the exponential laws right quick. And the 3 that I want to cover for scientific notation is the power rule, the product rule, and the quotient rule. The product rule says that if you have x to the n power times x to the m power, when you are multiplying, what do you do to the exponent?
You add them.
You add them. That is the product rule. But make sure the bases are what?
Multiply.
The bases have to be the same. These 2 guys have to be the same for the product rule, quotient rule to work. Now the quotient rule is the opposite. Quotient rule says that if you have x to the n power over x to the m power, you subtract the what? Exponents. And then the power rule says that if you raise an exponent to an exponent, what do you do with the exponents? You multiply them. Okay, so those are the 3 rules that you need to remember going into scientific notation. Now the number 1 thing to learn about scientific notation is the definition of scientific notation. Okay? So make sure that you're, 1, paying attention to what I go over right now and not play on your phone. And the other is learn the definition to make sure that you know what it means. If I asked you what scientific definition is, what would you tell me? Most people don't. Now they'll try to give me a definition, but it's usually wrong. Okay? I'm going to give you a Hubertism definition. Scientific notation is placing the decimal to the right of the first number greater than 0. That's all there is to it. I want you to learn that definition. Placing the decimal to the right of the first number greater than 0. Now, if you ask me, why are you doing that? First thing I'm going to do is, what is the definition of scientific notation? And if you hadn't learned it, then that's why you're asking the question. Now, most people know how to go from a scientific notation number to a regular number, and from a regular number to a scientific notation. That's not the problem. The problem is when I ask you to multiply or divide scientific notation, then y'all just self-combust. Okay? So, what do you mean placing the decimal to the right of the first number greater than 0? Well, let's take, for example, 2,472. Somebody tell me where the decimal is right now. And it's a whole number. So where is all decimals on a whole number?
At the very end.
At the very end, right here. Now, which way do we read? Left to right, unless you're from the Middle East, Masalama. If you're from around here, you read from left to right. So where is the first number greater than 0?
Over 1 to the middle.
Where is the first number greater than 0?
Oh, 2.
2. So I'm going to put that decimal right here. Now, I will not say left or right. I'm just going to move it. Because most people don't mess up the number, they mess up the sign. And like I say, 90% of you know how to do this. That's not the problem. So bear with me, and if you listen to what I tell you, when we get to the operational scientific notation, you will be okay and you won't get them wrong. Okay? 1, 2, 3. So I'll rewrite 2.472 blank 3. Now I say to myself, and this is the hubrism, you won't see this in any book. I say to myself, I ask myself at this point, mentally, what does mentally mean?
In your mind.
In your mind. You do not move the decimal anymore. You just say in your head, mentally, which way do I move to get the original form? The original form. Okay? Which way do I move this decimal in my head to get it back the way it was over here?
To the right.
To the right, and right means what? Positive. Now, at this point, there's always a student that goes, oh, well, that's not what my teacher told me. Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. How do you know it's broke? Well, when I show you a operational scientific notation problem and you get it right, then it's not what?
Broke.
If you get it wrong, it's what? Broke. So you're going to have to fix it. So just bear with me. And I'm going to do another one over on the other side, and it's going to be a decimal. And you will be surprised on how many people have always screwed up scientific notation. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to raise your hand. There's a lot of people that have always screwed it up. So, point 0.00042. Okay, where's the decimal? You see it. It's right there. Where are you going to put it?
Between the 4 and...
Between the 4 and the 2. Good, because you're putting the decimal to the right of the first number greater than 1, or greater than 0. So I'm going to rewrite it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, get rid of the arbitrary mark. 4.2 times 10 to the blank. And how many times did I move it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Which way did I move this decimal in my head to get it back the way it was?
To the left.
Right? To the left. To the left. Left is, so that would be 4.2 times 10 to the negative 4. Now, like I said, most of y'all, 90% of you, know how to do these two problems without any problem. That's not the problem. Problem is the next problem I showed you. Right? And they'll ask you to change 4.2 times 10 into a decimal, and of course you do that. You just do what? You write 4.2 and you move what? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
To 0. And like I said, most of you know how to do that. So let's move on to the ones that's going to cause the problems. 45.0 times 10 to the 5th. No, let's make that a 15. Make that 15. Start off simple. 3 times 10 to the negative 4. Now, this problem, one time I put the problem on the board like this, and you know what somebody did? This is what they did. They went
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they did the whole thing, all the way down. And I walked by, and I saw this person. I said, I wanted to say, are you an idiot? Okay? But I didn't. You know why I didn't? Because a lot of people don't know and realize that scientific notation does away with what? All this. They just hadn't been taught. This is not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to use the product rule and a little bit of multiplication, and then you have to know scientific notation to fix the answer, because the answer is not in scientific notation. So, 15 times 3 is what? Times 10 to the 5 plus what? -4. These are the same bases, are they not? So you add the what? You add the exponents.
Got you.
And this is what you do. This is what 90% of you do. Oh, that's 45 times 10. 5 minus 4 is what? 1. And you're done, right? No, you are not. Because where is the decimal on the 45?
At the back.
And where does it need to be? So that's going to be 4.5 times 10 to the 1 blank 1. Which way did I move this decimal to get it back the way it was? To the right. Right is positive. So your final answer is 4.5 times 10 to the second power.
Hold on.
Say again?
Can you go back over that? 4.5 times 10 to the first? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I moved it one place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there it is.
All right.
And then I go 1 blank 1. And then which way do I move this decimal in my head to get it back the way it was?
To the
1.
to the right.
To the right. And that's what it
Okay,
was.
so where's that other 1 coming from? Is that one to the right? I'm being stupid here.
What's 5 minus 4?
Okay, never mind. I got it.
There you go.
My
That's
bad.
all right. You just missed a step.
I did.
So the answer is 4. So you move it 450.
Okay, you said.
Oops, I'm sorry. I made a mistake here. That's supposed to be, I'm sorry, right here. This is supposed to be point 0.0004. There we go. Or 3, sorry.
No, no.
I made a mistake there. Okay, what?
You said move to the right.
Which way do you move this decimal in your head? In your head, what does in your head mean? In your head.
Mental.
To get it the way it was.
Oh.
To the right.
Okay.
That means plus. Now, a lot of people fuss at me and say, well, my teacher told me that if it was a big number, you move it to the right, and if it was that. Yes, and they get every one of these wrong. Okay? So, you use what you want. If you got 10 to the second power and you did it your way, then it ain't what? It ain't broke. So, you don't fix it. All right, let's do a nerd. I'm going to let y'all work on this one. Yeah, you should be. I wouldn't even try if I was you. Let's do 12
That's what.
times 10 to the -5th. 3 times 10 to the -4. All right, do that one. I'll even give you a hint. 12 times 3 is 36. There you go.
Add negatives. It's
Why are you moving the microphone?
I don't like that thing being right up on me. Because then if I breathe or something, it's going to be like, what you
I
say?
hadn't heard a word from you. I hadn't heard a sound.
Really?
No, hadn't heard anything.
Well, I went to the bathroom just a minute ago.
I didn't even notice. We don't,
Wow.
you know, the world does not revolve around you, Miss Simmons, you know. Just because you're from Gettys, you know. Now, how do you pronounce it? Gettys or Gettys?
Okay, we always said Gettys, and then there was this one honors English teacher, and she was always like, it's Gettys. No, if it was Gettys, it would be Gettis, Gettys.
Well, see, those are the people that, you know, tell you how stupid and southern and racist you are.
It's Gettys.
No, you have to say Clemson. Because if you say Clemson, you only got one tooth in your head, and you're racist, and you're southerner, and you're ignorant. So people go out of their way to say Clemson.
Clint.
Clemson. Here we are today in Clemson, South Carolina, and everybody goes, who? What? Where is Clemson? These people, they're so funny. They're so worried about how they appear. 36 times 10 to the negative 5 plus what? Negative 4. You owe somebody $5, you owe somebody $4. What do you owe them?
$9.
I'm sorry, negative 9. I'm sorry.
$9. Now, where is the decimal right here? So I'm going to, that's going to be 3.6 times 10 to the negative 9 plus 1, because I've got to move it back. So that's going to be 3.6 times 10 to the what? Now, if you got 3.6 times 10 to the negative 8, you don't have anything to worry about. If you didn't get to the negative 8, then it's broke. You need to fix it. How you fix it, that's up to you. So let's try the quotient rule.
And 44 divided by 2. I don't know.
I'd quit. Tell me you're not using a calculator.
I ain't using no
Simmons.
calculator. I ain't using no calculator.
That's sad. That's really sad.
Hey, I said it was 70-something. I just didn't know exactly.
Quick, spell mom backwards. All right, 144 divided by 2.
I feel like I'm constantly being insulted, but I'm gonna just let it slide.
72
Correct.
times 10 to the 8 minus 5. 72 times 10 to the third. Finish it. So, 7.2 times 10 to the 3.1. Move that to the right in my head to get it back the way it was. And that's 7.2 times 10 to the 4th power.
Oh.
Now, people get it wrong because they think, oh, I move it to the left, that means negative. It's broke. And you can check your calculator if you don't believe me. Because whatever the calculator says is God, you know, because calculators walk on water to some people. Dang old calculator drill team in high school.
Just to recap, the reason we're putting it back over to the left at the end of every answer or question is because of that. It has to go back to the greater.
Okay, wait a minute. Stop.
Yep.
Okay, where are you talking about? Right here?
All right, so
Right
yes.
here? Okay,
Yes,
what's
the
the
reason we're
definition of
moving.
scientific notation?
That's what I was just trying to clarify.
That's
what
why
we're
you have
doing.
to move it, because this is a whole number, and
Okay.
the whole number has the decimal right there. Scientific
Gotcha.
notation is placing it to the right of the first number greater than 0,
Zero.
which is the 7.
Gotcha.
That's why we have to move it. Now, sometimes you don't have to do that. Sometimes you might have a problem that looks like this. Wait a minute. No yawning in class.
I'm sorry, it's not personal, it's just
Yeah, it
hard.
is. 4.0 times 10 to the 5th over 2.0 times 10 to the 3rd. What's 4 divided by 2?
2.
Do you have to do anything? No.
No.
So you have to be careful. And see, that's why students, when they see this,
Mm-hmm.
they will put on a test, they'll put, okay, that's 72 times 10 to the 3rd. 1, they don't realize it's not in scientific notation. Or 2, they realize it's not in scientific notation, but they don't know about this sign right here, and they screw it up all the time, so they just leave it. One of those two things. But it's very rare that a student comes out of high school and goes, oh, well, that's 7.2 times 10 to the 2nd. Very rare, because they usually, do they mess up the numbers? No. I'll take a highlighter and I'll highlight everything they don't mess up. They don't mess this 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 up. What do they mess up? They mess up that sign. Every single time they mess up that sign. This is what they mess up. And they will get 7.2 times 10 to the 2nd power. And it's wrong. Should be 7.2 times 10 to the 4th power, or whatever. Okay? That's what it's supposed to be.
So the only way you'll get a minus is if you go in the opposite direction, right?
Well, it depends on if you got decimals or not. See, I could give you a decimal, and it would be the same thing. So if I gave you a decimal, I could give you a decimal. Hold on. See, that's the whole point. See, I would have to give you something like this. I would have to, no, you're never going to see that, because I won't give you one like that. I might give you 4.0 times 10 to the 5th power divided by, I'm trying to think of a way to give you a decimal. It would have to be like this, like 16.0 times 10 to the 6th or 8th power. Okay, what's 4 divided by 16?
4.
No, it's not.
I'm sorry. What in the world? 4
1
divided
fourth,
by.
which is point what? Times 10. What's 5 minus 8?
3.
Now, where does the decimal belong? It belongs right there. So 2.5 times 10 to the negative 3rd, blank 1. Which way did I move this decimal in my head to get it back the way it was? To the left. So that's going to be 2.5 times 10 to the negative 4th. And students will screw this up, and they'll say plus 1, and you get a negative 2, and they'll get it wrong.
Oh.
So that's an example of a decimal. You've got to be careful. You've got to know two things. You've got to know the definition of a scientific notation. You've got to know that definition, and then you have to remember after you move the decimal, you have to ask yourself, which way did I mentally move this in my head to get it back the way it was? And it will not mess you up. It will not mess you up. If you follow those two things, you'll never get one of these wrong. But people don't do it. They do their own thing, and then they get it wrong. All right, let's look at some of the, what section is this? Somebody tell me right quick, because I don't know. What time is it?
We got 13.
Oh, we got 13 minutes. Wow. I'm impressed. I want to pull up a couple of the examples in the book. Somebody tell me what section this is.
I think it's 5.6.
I'll have to pull up. Hold on. I got to pull it up. I thought I had. There it is.
Oh my goodness.
I don't want to do that. I want to go to 5.6. Study plan. All right, we done went over that one. Went over all these. Okay, there's a good test question. Both of these are good. All right, do that one. But you got to turn it into scientific notation first, then do the operation. And if y'all need any help, Miss Simmons, just ask Miss Simmons. She'll help you.
Well,
Yeah, you'll show them how to do it on the calculator, right?
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Work smarter, not harder, you heard?
When was the War 1812 fought? All right, so 200,000 times 23,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which way did I move this decimal to get back the way it was in my head, the positive? My head, 4 to positive. What's 5 plus 4?
9.
And what's 2 times 2 plus 3, or 2.3?
6. 4.
Let's say that Hubert don't know what he's doing and my way is right. Okay? So here we go. Let's see if my way is right, or that'd be 2 or 4.6, shift 8, 10, shift up, and 9th power. I got that one right. So evidently I know what I'm doing. Because I do have people think that I'm teaching them some crazy, no, I'm just teaching it like you should learn it. And not none of this patternized, oh, if it's a decimal, then it's going to be a negative, and if it's a whole number, it's going to be a positive. It doesn't work all the time. Here's another test question. Yeah, I'd quit. Those are decimals. You know what you ought to say here? Those are decimals. I don't want to do those. Go to the next problem. .003 times 0.00013. One, two, three. Which way did I move this decimal in my head to get it back the way it was?
Left.
Left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing here. What's negative 3 plus a negative 4? You owe $7. What's 3 times 1.3?
Times 1.3. Oh. 3.9.
Good job.
Yep.
When y'all get through with this class, y'all gonna say, golly, I didn't know I knew how to do that stuff. Except Miss Simmons, she's gonna say she was bullied.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't saying Jack.
I ain't saying Jack.
Oh,
You ain't got to bully me. You want me to quit, you say. Abby, quit.
I've been trying to get you to quit. You keep coming back.
Well, fine, then I'm just quitting. Don't expect me next time.
She sounds like a wife. You sure you're not married?
No,
Sound just
I'm not
like a
married.
wife. All right, there you go. There's another test question right there. You can bet your bottom dollar you'll get a division one.
oh my God.
Yeah, that's a fraction. Let's just not do that one either. When in doubt, quit.
I'm going to take that one to my grave.
That's what I try to tell my students. When in doubt, quit. When the tough get going, quit. That's what I tell my kids. They won't believe me. They just keep doing that self-improvement thing.
Oh, God.
I tell them it's nice just to live in a van down by the river.
I swear,
We got time.
I get it right, but
Turn
All right, where does the decimal go on the big number on top? Between the what? 3 and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3.5 times 10 to the blank 6. Which way did I move this decimal in my head to get it back the way it was? To the right. Over 1, 2, 3, 4. 5.0 times 10 to the blank 4. And same thing there. Now what's 6 minus 4?
2.
And 3.5, now you need to get your calculator out.
That's 15.5. No, it's not. I was just kidding.
She's such a disappointment. 3.5 divided by 5 is what?
17 point. Oh, we're dividing. Just kidding.
0.6.
It is 0.7.
0.7 what?
Hmm?
Is it just 0.7?
Yeah.
Okay, are we done?
Yeah.
No. What's the definition of a law? What's the definition of a scientific notation? Y'all don't know the definition. Placing the
Wanna make sure I
number
was
to the
right.
what?
Right.
To the right of the first number greater than 0. So I got to move it. 7.0 times 10 to the second, blank 1. And which way did I move this decimal in my head to get it back the way it was? To the left.
Right. So
The
it's a
final
positive.
answer is 7.0 times 10 to the first power, which is 70. They may ask you to type it in as a, no, they want you scientific notation. Well, Hubert, that's wrong. No, that's supposed to be 3. Okay, let's see. Let's type it in and see who's right. 7.0, shift 8, 10, shift up. And I said what? 10 minus 1, that'd be the first power? Wow. 10 to the first is right, so that means 10 to the third is what? Wrong. There's another good one. You quit? Okay. Miss Simmons, what's the answer to this one?
Good Lord, you just asked me on the spot.
Yep. I figured you done put you in a calculator.
No, I ain't did nothing. I worked with you.
Okay. 1,000 over
That a decimal.
point, and I got to count because you go cross-eyed once you start counting zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know where that mark came from. Oh, that's supposed to be 4. These marks just show up. I don't know, maybe when we have training one day, we'll know where those marks come from. We ain't had training yet on these. Had it for 2 years. Are you leaving us? Oh, I thought you were leaving. What? I thought Oconee Hall done got mad at me and gonna leave. No.
Where is Oconee? Oh, it only shows 2 screens at a time.
Really? Where's Oconee? What?
Okay, well, I didn't see them. I saw you and Easley. I'm sorry.
You are Easley.
I know I'm Easley.
On our screen, it only shows you and our.
Well, y'all don't have it set up right. See, you're supposed to hit the little white arrow beside my picture. Somebody hit the little white arrow.
Our mouse is froze.
I swear, I believe they're drinking up there. I believe they're doing something. Okay. There's a little white arrow. Hit that little white arrow if you can get the mouse to work.
Oh, what the heck?
All right, so there's a little white arrow where?
Yeah, click that little white arrow to the right of my picture.
Oh, okay.
Now, take that over to the right side and maximize it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, isn't that nice? Technology is something, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. Now I actually know what you look like.
Okay, what do I look like? No, don't answer that. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2.8 times 10 to the blank 8th power. That goes to the right to make it original. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4.0 times 10 to the blank 7 to the left. Be careful here. They're setting you up. They're setting you up to miss it. Why? Because you're going to subtract that -7, and that's going to make it what? Positive, Hubert. That's right. Now, somebody give me the 2.8 divided by 4. What do you get? Don't do the 0 point. Just say point. 0.7 even times 10 to the 8 minus a what?
No.
8 minus a -7. And that's going to be 0.7 times 10 to the 15th power. Are we done? Nope.
Nope.
So that's going to go one place. So that's going to be blank 1. And there's where the decimal is. I want to move it. That'd be left. So our final answer is 7.0 times 10 plus 15 minus 1.
14.
That's the answer.
Oconee.
Oh, is it time? I wondered when our 10 minutes was over.
2 minutes ago.
How much?
2 minutes ago it was over.
That should be a test question.
Okay, hold on. Don't run off yet. 7.0 times the star 10, shift up, and what? 14? Wow, I got that one right too. So it's not 16. So evidently I'm doing them right. Okay, now, well, you need to be working on all your homework because this is it. after this, when y'all come in Monday, we're going to be working on the test and homework questions. So send in homework questions this weekend because Monday is the last day we're going to have to go over questions, okay?
Do we do tests from home or in class?
We'll talk about that Monday when we go over the test.
All right.
You're getting the cart before the horse.